Hello and welcome to NDTV News. I am Tare Prido Ikidi. The highlights. Kidnapped High Court judge regains freedom. Governor Doye charged the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime to bring in an end to drug abuse in the state. Plus, former Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai dies at 61. And now the details. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye has charged the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime in Nigeria to establish more presence in Bayelsa State with a view to bringing drug abuse in the state to the barest minimum. Governor Diri gave the charge when the new head of the organization paid the courtesy call on him. Government House correspondent George Ameli completes the report.
The new country representative of the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, Senegal's Ousmane Touré, was in Government House Yenagua on Thursday, on the sidelines of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking commemoration. The country rep had come with leaders of allied organizations tackling the hazard of drug abuse. The country rep relays the purpose of the visit.
To re-emphasize, reiterate UNODC commitment to continue the work that we started in Bayelsa for many years. I had the opportunity to meet your commissioner for youth, because the youth has to be part of the solution-making process. It is not just old generation dictating the pathway to development.
The rep promises a new way of addressing the menace of drug abuse amongst other changes.
We say, promise less and deliver more. Under my leadership, what you will be seeing is UNODC getting out of Abuja and be more present where the stories are told, which are in the States. And we have demonstrated that by having a dedicated project in Bayelsa.
Responding, the Bayelsa State Governor, Senator Doye, represented by his deputy, Senator Lawrence Erijakpo, wondered why modernity, the challenge of drug abuse, is becoming more prevalent.
The more we try to fight the issue of drugs, the higher the consumption rate. Because now we have so many agencies that are involved in dealing with the issue of drugs. But each year, by the time we take our reports, there's an increase in the number of drug consumption, globally and nationally in Nigeria here. So are we winning the war, or the war is becoming too fierce for us?
The Bayelsa governor called on stakeholders to take full advantage of different platforms of modernization to tackle the jeopardy.
The social media and technology, what role does it play? Because people get information from the social media more than the conventional media. More people get more information from the social media. So what do we do about that social media undulation of the use of drugs? UNODC and all of us to look at that direction. We must have a way of interrupting that.
The governor appreciated the contributions of the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime in the state, even as he admonished the organization to establish greater presence in the state.
You have done so much for us in our state, and the evidence of what you are doing, if nobody sees, is there in no time. And so we are not unmindful of that. So we'll continue to have this relationship. So you can give more to Bayelsa and expand the local government areas you are covering.
Sheikh Ousmane Touré assumed office as the lead of the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime in Nigeria in October 2024. From the Deputy Governor's Office and Government House, Yenagua, George Ameli reporting for NDTV News.
In a related development, Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye has called for collective effort in the fight against drug abuse, charging all relevant law enforcement agencies to focus on eliminating the production of harmful drugs in the country. Governor Diri made the call while speaking at an event commemorating the 2025 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking at the Chief DSP LMA Memorial Banquet Hall, Yenagoa on Thursday. Correspondent Nelson Agadi has the full report. A High Court judge in Bayelsa State, Justice Ebienri Omokoro, has regained his freedom after almost 2 weeks in a den of kidnappers. At a press briefing at the state headquarters of the Department of State Services in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, the Commissioner for Police, Francis Sidu, disclosed that his release was made possible as a result of the combined efforts of security agencies and the state government. Correspondent George Ameli was at the media parley and now relays the details.
Even at a populated area like the Keki Motor Park, some kidnappers had the effrontery to abduct a High Court judge of Bayelsa State. Justice Ebienri Omukoro. The abduction took place in front of Biosans at the popular eatery opposite the Ekeki Motor Park, with the unidentified gunmen whisking him away in a Hilux van at about 8 p.m. on the 21st of June. 12 days on, Justice Umukoro regained freedom. The Commissioner of Police, Bayelsa State Command, Francis Idu, and Justice Daniel Aya speak on the issue.
It's been a very harrowing week. Thankfully to God, and the collective effort of security agencies within Bayelsa, we are finding foreclosures finally to the untoward event. I think this is the first time you see a commissioner of police in this special facility. This goes to tell you that we are bounded by our obligations to the public.
Today, we just want to thank God. The man that was abducted about 12 days ago, let me say about 12 days ago or so, has been rescued by the security. So we give all glory to God. I also thank the Excellency Executive Governor of Bayelsa State for his tireless effort, seeing that my Lord Justice Umukoro is released sooner.
The Bayelsa State government had put machinery in motion to aid a rescue.
The abductors came to rubbish us, but because the security agencies and the state government are working in synergy, and this is a testimony for today. I want to thank the security agencies and also thank the governor, appreciate him, because when the governor said we have done a lot of investment in security, people thought we were playing.
The abducted judge relayed his ordeal.
Abductors, by kidnappers, even they were shocked. They were telling me, we thought that by now you would have gotten critically ill and maybe collapsed or something. We are surprised that you are still brimming full of energy, in spite of the fact that we are out there in the jungle, not in any house or anything, being completely subjected to the cold, the elements. But I just said, God, I'm not going to die here. I'm going to come out of this place alive, and I'm going to testify to it. And that is the essence of what is happening today.
DSS headquarters in Yenagwa, George Ameli reporting for NDTV News.
Members of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Ibrahim Ngobere, have commenced an advanced leadership and executive education training program at the University of Cambridge in London. They are joined by participants from Edo, Imo, Gombe, and other states across Nigeria. The program is aimed at equipping participants with essential skills to lead effectively. Assembly correspondent Enabra Tomprier reports that the University of Cambridge, with over 800 years of leadership development experience, uses a tailored approach to help organizations and individuals grow. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly commended the management and staff of Cambridge University for organizing the training. Right Honorable Ngobere said the Assembly is committed to applying the knowledge gained to support the growth and development of the state. He also lauded Governor Doye Diri for his continued partnership and support and acknowledgement, and acknowledged the reports of the coordinating team and organizers, including Dr. John Mutu, Chief Executive Officer of the African Parliamentary Resource Center, for their dedication and commitment to the process. Upon completion, participants will gain the skills to tackle rapid economic and technological change, engage with global financial systems, foster collaboration, and lead sustainable growth. As 2027 politicking gets intense with politicians crisscrossing across political divides and new alignments, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it has received 12 additional applications from associations seeking registration as political parties, including one named I Love Nigeria, bringing the total number of applications to 122. The Commission also released supplementary regulations and guidelines for the review of election results as empowered by Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022. National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, who disclosed this in a statement on Thursday, said the latest applications were received on Wednesday following the earlier submission of 110 applications on June 23. Olumekun said the Commission is processing all applications transparently and in accordance with the Electoral Act, Regulations and Guidelines for Political Parties 2022. On the review of election results, he explained that it has now provided clear procedures and timelines for the review of any declaration or return made involuntarily or in breach of electoral laws. Olumekun said this is in accordance with Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022, which empowers the Commission to reverse election results declared under duress or in violation of extant regulations. According to him, the supplementary regulations and guidelines have been uploaded to the Commission's website and other platforms for the information of the public. If you're just joining us, you're watching Niger Delta Television News. On the headlines, kidnapped High Court judge regains freedom. Governor Doye Diwi charged the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime to bring an end to drug abuse in the state. Still to come in the news, former Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai dies at 61. Details of these and other stories after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome to Niger Delta Television News and Current Affairs Department at the INEC Media Complex here in Yanagua, Bayelsa State.
One of NDTV's traditional objectives is to disseminate information with renewed vigor. We build teamwork for accountability, efficiency, and accuracy.
Our community reports, eyewitness accounts, current affairs discussions are detailed and competitive.
As NDTV reporters, undiluted report is our goal. We gather the news and bring it to you just as it is.
Our cameras are poised to get in the story behind the story in an in-depth news report.
Our new digital equipment are top-notch with clearer visuals and audio. NDTV is repositioned to serve you better.
Join us on the news every day at 7 a.m., 12 p.m. and our major bulletin at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 25 UHF. NDTV, crystallizing the vision.
Thanks for staying tuned. The news continues. The Acting General Manager of Niger Delta Television, Frederick Fabo, has pledged the station's commitment to propagate the upliftment and empowerment of women at all levels. Mr. Fabo made the pledge when Women of Today Development Association International paid him a courtesy visit in his office at the INEC Media Complex, Yanagua. The report. Speaking in the visit, National President of the association, Barrister Tarere Egbegi, who led other ESCOs of the association, stated that the Women of Today Association International is poised to empower women in the society to be self-independent, thereby adding value to themselves and the society they find themselves.
To make them understand that women, we've got a lot to offer to society, not just to sit at home or to serve Oga in the other room, but we can go beyond that as women. We are a group of women that came together to see how we can add value to society.
Understanding the importance of media in the enlightenment of the public, Barrister Egbegi sought the collaboration and partnership of the station in the coverage of their activities, especially their national summit and formal inauguration of the Bayelsa State chapter of the association.
And the date for the summit is this month, July 17th to 19th. We'll be hosting everybody all over Nigeria here. If the media is not there to cover what we're doing, how will people hear about us? How will they know about us? How will they know about the impact we're making in society? That is why we have come here today, sir, to see how this media house can partner with us, collaborate with us, to be part of our forthcoming summit.
In his response, Acting General Manager of the station, Frederick Fabo, commended the association's initiative and assured them of the station's support.
As mothers of the nation, that is why we think it is very important that we receive you. Having listened to you, we want to assure you of our support. We'll be very happy to be part of the Women's Summit scheduled for July 17 to 19.
The Women of Today Association International is a group spread across the 36 states of the Federation with the aim of changing the narrative of women empowerment in the society. Tari Prido Ikidi, reporting for NDTV News. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered the Nigerian Senate to recall the suspended lawmaker representing Kogi Central, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduogan. The court, in a judgment that was delivered by Justice Binta Nyako, described as excessive the 6-month suspension that was slammed on the lawmaker by the state. It faulted the provision of Chapter 8 of the Senate Standing Rules as well as Section 14 of the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act, declaring both as overreaching. The court stressed that the two legislations failed to specify the maximum period that a 7 lawmaker could be suspended from office. According to the court, since lawmakers have a total of 181 days to sit in every legislative cycle, the 6-month suspension handed to Senator Akpoti-Oduogan was aimed at pushing her away from her responsibilities to her constituents. It held that though the Senate has the power to punish any of its members who errs, such actions must not be excessive to deprive the constituents of their right to be represented. However, the court held that the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, was not wrong to have denied the plaintiff, who was not on the official seat that was allotted to her, the opportunity to speak during plenary. Justice Yanko equally dismissed Akpabio's contention that the court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the suit, which he said bordered on an internal affair of the Senate. Earlier in the ruling, the court awarded a 5 million naira fine against Senator Akpoti-Oduogan for being in breach of the court order that barred parties from making public statements pertaining to the matter of the suit, in which she published a satirical apology to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Consequently, the court ordered Senator Akpoti-Oduogan to, within 7 days, publish a proper apology in 2 national dailies and on her Facebook page. President Donald Trump is set to host a trade talks summit in Washington, D.C. with 5 African leaders. Reports say the meeting is centered on expanding commercial opportunities rather than continuing broad foreign programs. Correspondent Williams Bekowe has details of these and other foreign stories.
According to reports, President Trump is set to host a focus summit in Washington, D.C. from July 9 to 11 to welcome leaders from Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal for a one-day meeting centered on expanding commercial opportunities rather than continuing broader foreign programs. Notably, Nigerian, Africa's largest economy and most populous nation, was excluded from the guest list, drawing sharp criticism from former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. He denounced the omission as a verdict on Bola Ahmed Tinubu's chaotic presidency and indicative of Nigeria's waning regional influence. White House statement emphasized that invitations were based on his country's capacity to pursue commercially driven mutual prosperity in lieu of traditional hate. United States of America Congress has passed President Donald Trump's landmark Big Beautiful Bill, a sweeping $4.5 trillion tax and spending package. The legislation locked in Trump-era tax code had new deduction for overtime and tips, boost military and border security funding, and rolls back major welfare and green energy programs. According to report, is being hailed by Republicans as a major economic win, while Democrats argue it favors the wealthy and harms low-income Americans. The Senate passed the bill on July 1 after 50-50 tie was broken by Vice President J.D. Vance on July 3. The House followed with narrow 218 to 214 votes after hours of heated debate. Trump is expected to sign it into law, an Independence Day event on July 4, calling it a new declaration of American greatness. According to report, the UN Special Rapporteur Francisca Albanese called on countries to impose a full arms embargo and suspend trade and financial ties with Israel over what she described as a genocide campaign in Gaza. Presenting a report to the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, she declared the situation apocalyptic and applauded by delegates as she named more than 60 companies allegedly complicit in supporting Israeli military actions and settlement. Our recommendations include halting arms export, ending commercial agreements, and pursuing legal action against firms and executives involved. Albanese stressed that this is a systematic issue, not just a list of firms, and all states' cooperation to disconnect entirely from what she termed an economy of genocide. Williams Bekewe reporting for NDTV Foreign News.
Beninese music icon and five-time Grammy winner Angelique Kidjo has made history as the first African artist who has earned the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. For this and more entertainment news, let's join Blessing Agadaga.
The announcement was made on Wednesday at a conference at the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce in Los Angeles, unveiling the class of 2026 honorees. Kidjo, whose four-decade music career spans Afrobeat, jazz, funk, and traditional West African sounds, was named alongside 34 global entertainment figures including Miley Cyrus, Timothée Chalamet, Shaquille O'Neal, Deepika Padukone, and Lea Salonga. Her selection is part of a list ratified by the Hollywood Walk of Fame Board of Directors on June 25, after reviewing hundreds of global nominations. Recipients are expected to schedule their star ceremony within 2 years. Born in Cotonou, Benin in 1960, Kidjo rose from the streets of West Africa to become one of the continent's most powerful musical exports. Her signature albums like Logozo 1991, Black Ivory Soul 2002, Eve 2014, Celia 2019, and the Grammy-winning Mother Nature 2021 are said to have not only broken language and cultural barriers, but reshaped how the world listens to African music. Kidjo's musical collaborations span continents, from working with Carlos Santana, Alicia Keys, and Bono, to more recent cross-generational partnerships with Burna Boy, Yemi Alade, Davido, and Mr. Easy. Offstage, Kidjo has dedicated her life to advocacy and education, especially for young African girls. As a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, she has been instrumental in campaigns promoting gender equality, access to education, and girls' rights. She is also the founder of the Batonga Foundation, which provides secondary education and vocational training to adolescent girls in rural Benin and beyond. Her humanitarian efforts have earned her accolades from institutions including BBC, Time Magazine, and Amnesty International. Reacting to the announcement, Chairman of the Walk of Fame Selection Committee, Peter Roth, said, "These talented individuals have made significant contributions to the world of entertainment, and we are thrilled to honor them with this well-deserved recognition." Award-winning author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie has advised young women to choose their life partners wisely, stating that the person you marry can significantly impact your life. In a recent event, she urges women to prioritize kindness and support in a partner, sharing her own positive experience of choosing a good partner. Adichie cautioned against settling for someone who may not be a good person simply out of desperation to get married, urging young women to be intentional in their decision-making. Almost a year after the completion of the National Art Theatre, the revamped National Edifice for Culture and Creative Arts by the Bankers Committee, the gates and doors of the facility are yet to be thrown open for use. On August 29, 2024, the Bankers Committee announced the completion of the renovation and upgrading of the monument situated in Ingamu area of Lagos. The Bankers Committee further revealed in the same year that the renovation covered different spaces, including the 4,000-seater main board, over 3,000-seater banquet hall, exhibition halls, cinemas, VIP spaces, actors' changing room, industrial kitchen, over 300 new toilet cubicles, clinic, fire station, lobbies within the 4 entrances, and extensive roof repairs. The renovation of the national landmark commenced in July 2021, following approval by the federal government and the subsequent handover of the national edifice to the Bankers Committee, and was completed in August 2024. Prior to the completion in August, the national edifice was renamed Wole Soyinka Center for Culture and the Creative Arts by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The president renamed the facility in a birthday message to the Nobel laureate, who turned 90 on July 13, 2024. Blessing Agadaga, NDTV Entertainment News.
Former Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai is dead. Rufai, who died on Thursday following a prolonged illness, was aged 61. For these and more other sports stories, let's join Ayemi Miene.
Rufai was born on August 24, 1963, played for Nigeria for 17 years, including the World Cup tournaments in 1994 and 1998. He made his debut for Nigeria in December 1981. He was a calm and composed goalkeeper who earned 65 caps and helped the Super Eagles win the 1994 Africa Cup of Nations in Tunisia after coming second in 1984 and 1988, starting as first-choice goalkeeper at all three AFCON tournaments. Rufai led Nigeria as captain at the FIFA World Cup in the United States of America in 1994 and in France 1998, making it to the round of 16 in both occasions. In another sad story, the football world is in shock after Diogo Jota, a forward for Liverpool and Portugal, died in a car accident at the age of 28. Jota and his brother Andre Silva died when their Lamborghini crashed in Zamora, Spain. Jota, 28, was traveling by car and ferry to return to Liverpool for pre-season training after doctors advised against flying due to minor surgery. Ayemi Miene for NDTV Sports.
And that's the size of our package. But before we go, a quick look at the highlights. A High Court judge in Bayelsa State, Justice Ebienrin Omokoro, has regained his freedom after almost 2 weeks in a den of kidnappers. We also brought to you a report that Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri has called for collective effort in the fight against drug abuse, charging all relevant law enforcement agencies to focus on eliminating the production of harmful drugs in the country. And finally, former Super Eagles goalkeeper Peter Rufai is dead. Thanks for watching. I am Tari Prido Ikidi. Bye for now.